Up to you.
Yeah, the basic difference is when you go to a bank, it's a one-stop shop. So if you go to a Capital One or a SunTrust or Bank of America, you only can use their products. When you go to a mortgage broker or a mortgage banker, they're approved with about normally 20 to 100 different banks. So when you go to process or submit a loan or apply for a loan, you have 50 to 60 options of getting approved. Where again, with a bank, you only have their options and their products.
Okay. Well, tell us, if I'm a first-time home buyer, what sort of plans or programs do they have for people like that? Not me. I got enough homes, don't I? But I'm just saying.
Well, for a first time home buyer, they have the 1% down, and
Oh.
then they have the
1%?
1%.
I thought it was 3%.
1%
When
down.
did they change that?
It's been about a year or more. Yeah. So you have the 1% down.
Oh, Nikki, did you hear that? 1% down. Oh my God.
It's like giving me a house.
Depending on your credit, they still have the 100%. And then, like you said, they have the FHA 3% and the conventional 3% down.
Okay, that sounds good. So which one would Nikki go for?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, if I had access to VA loan money, what would I take?
That'd be 100%. You would
All
all
right.
VA loans are 100%.
What do you mean by 100%? There's no loan. She don't put on down nothing.
No down payment.
No down payment.
Oh
Correct.
my goodness! Did you hear that, Shamu? Are you trying to buy a house?
No.
No. How about a condominium? How about a condominium?
Maybe a condominium.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Absolutely, we should all be homeowners. We need a piece of this pie, don't you think? Absolutely, no question about it. Alice, you have any questions for my relative that's sitting here that's going to be helping us in the future with our programs and is going to be talking to us and our wonderful listeners and audience about different financial things so that we can get ourselves pulled together. You have any questions for him?
No, but I think that's wonderful because there's so many people out there who, have questions, and this would be a great service to them.
Oh, absolutely. Not a problem. Okay. Now, do we want to tackle NFL first or tackle NFL last? Which one do we want to do? I don't know. Which one do you want to tackle? Because I want you to what I wanted to do is for us to give our individual opinions and then let it go to rest. Even if they shoot each other on the field, this is going to be the last time that we're going to talk about the NFL. Okay. You want to go first, Alice? Go first.
All right, I'll go first. Well, I have very, very strong opinions about this because I have witnessed, there is a time to stand for the national anthem, to stand for our flag, and there's a time to kneel. And I've seen too many times when it was the time to kneel. And the time to kneel is at funerals in Arlington when the flag is presented. And if people could only see the reverence with which that flag is folded, and it's 13 folds, and there is a meaning to each fold. We don't have time for me to read it now, but go Google it. So I think that not to stand for our national, I'm an immigrant, and not to stand for our national anthem is you're not standing for your country. You're not making your mother proud, number one, and you are not, it's a total lack of respect for country, for God, and for our way of life. And I think that if you have an issue, a social justice issue or whatever, there are other ways to address it. And these men who are acting like high school boys all linked together have so many avenues that they can go down with this where they could do something really of substance and it be a great teaching moment.
Okay.
Instead, they are bringing disgrace to our country all over the world. And
well, you do have a strong opinion.
I have very
You've
strong
got a real
opinions
strong opinion here, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to go to Nikki next. Tell me what your thoughts are.
I'm kind of with Alice on that. I think it's a time and place for everything, and I think that since the NFL players are somewhat, in my eyes, like ambassadors, so when they do travel the world, they travel as representation of the United States. And if they're going to show division on a grand scale, how does that make us look towards the rest of the world? I think on division on a large scale shows a sign of weakness, and that's what I disagree about it with.
Now, I have written on my Facebook page the following: I only kneel for Jesus. Can I get an amen in here or not?
Amen.
Absolutely. And subsequently, this is my thing. If you want to do something for the greater good. Start a foundation, do a nonprofit organization. You go and work with black police officers and their unions, and you go to the inner city and you try to forge a way to make a difference in this world. This country. It's a great country. I'm glad and I'm proud to be an American. But we can stand to be a more perfect union. But we need help to get there. So we need help along the way. And if you're going to bring our country down, that I don't abide by. If you're going to be kneeling and disrespecting the flag and disrespecting our anthem, I don't abide by that. You're supposed to be working for the greater good. If it wasn't for God and if it wasn't for the NFL fans, you wouldn't have a dime. You would still be out there in the ghetto rolling around trying to figure out what to do. And now you have millions of dollars and this is what you do. I'm ashamed and I'm upset. And let me tell you this. You need to find a better way. We're ending this conversation. We're never talking about this again. And I hope you pull yourselves together. How about that? Do I sound angry?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody got a spanking.
Absolutely. So,
Grow up, do something good.
Yes, do something good. Help us be a more perfect union. Okay. Next thing. What are we talking about now? What do you think about the president's taxes? Okay. Who wants to take that on first?
Well, all I will say is this is a terrific plan for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody to have more money in their pockets. And what is really interesting about this president, and I think in our conversation last night we touched on this, and perhaps you weren't there, but he is president for everyone. He really doesn't care who's Democrat or who's Republican. He is truly the president for all people. He wants every American to prosper. And this is what he is attempting to do with this new tax plan. And won't everyone be absolutely thrilled if it's just one page? Dear Lord.
Well, I can think of a few people I don't want to prosper, like John McCain. But anyway, or Jeff Flake. There's a couple of people that I don't want to prosper. In fact, I want them to, go home. But anyway, I did some research on this topic, and let me tell you a little bit about it. I got to put my glasses on. I'm blind as a bat, as you guys know, without my glasses. So here we go. Let me tell you, the plan is going to be pretty good. And it's for small businesses particularly. We're going to have some major tax cuts for small businesses. Most people will pay lower taxes, although it's unclear of how much the rich people are going to get. But it's going to be a lot of tax cuts. Now, that little part on your 1099 where it says, head of household and how many children you have? Well, you're going to be able to double that amount of money. So if you say, okay, I have one child, I don't have any children, so you guys tell me, when you go and it says, okay, I'm a head of household and I have one child, how much is the standard deduction? Do you guys know?
The standard deduction per child is $1,800.
Okay, it's going to double. Under the Trump plan, it's going to double. So that's a good thing for people. And basically, the average taxpayer pays 39.6% of their income in taxes, and that's going to go down to 35%. So that's in his plan. Small business people are going to have the pass-through. People who do pass-throughs like sole proprietorships and S corporations, etc., they're going to get a lot of tax breaks here. Their income, their tax break level is going to go down to somewhere around 20%. Major corporations are going to go down to somewhere around 20%. So this is a pretty good tax plan. A lot of people in theory are on board, except for the Democrats who are saying, oh, God, all the rich people are going to get all this stuff, and all the poor people aren't going to get anything. But when I did a small review and analysis of the program, it seems to cut pretty clear. Now, a lot of business people, because the goal of the tax cut is to help our economy to move forward. It is the plan in order for us to bring money back to the United States that's been going overseas. They're going to China, they're going to India, they're going everywhere except for the United States. So the goal is to get the major corporations' tax rates down to 15% so they can start bringing more jobs back to the United States. So that's the goal and objective. Do you guys have any questions about what's going on with this tax plan?
I don't have any questions. I just...
No, I just think it's wonderful, and I think it's going to be wonderful for, every working family. There are many who are going to pay absolutely no taxes, and for the middle class,
yes,
it's going to be a big drop for them. So it's going to be a great thing.
if you're a single person, you only make $12,000 a year or whatever, you don't have to pay any taxes. And if you're a family or a couple, you make $24,000 a year or less, you won't have to pay any taxes at all. So I think that this plan is a good plan. It's a good way forward. It has to be tweaked. There's, nothing's perfect. So there's problems there too, and those things are going to have to be sorted out. My concern is, can our Senate do it? Do they have the will? Do they have the capabilities? Do they have the thought pattern? Do they have the knowledge to make this happen? The president does, because he has $10 billion. So he knows about finances. Wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. He knows about finance. With $10 billion, he knows about finances. But some of those people that are in Congress aren't as financially astute as he is. So they have to grasp the concept. So we have to go through that slow little turtle Senate and House, and then we have the nuts over there like Susan Collins, who is against everything. She really is a Democrat, Alice, don't you think? Why is she even on the Republican side of the aisle? Is there some way we can just push her chair over to the other side?
Republicans every time.
Alice, is there a way I can just push and shove her little chair over to the other side, to the Democratic side of the aisle? Like one day she comes into Susan Collins' chairs over there with Nancy Pelosi. Anyway, I'm telling you, this is a pretty good tax plan. It's just, can our Congress get it through? Donald Trump wants to have this plan resolved and in place by December. Can you believe that?
I think so, because I think a lot of the constituents of Democrats, they wanted to. So I think I think many of them will come over and vote for it.
Oh, I don't know. They're already giving negative feedback, but you know what? They're just jealous because they're big fat losers. So anyway, I think kudos to our president. Yes, Mr. President, move this ball forward. And Mitch McConnell, if you can hear me, and Paul Ryan, put some fire under your butt. Get this stuff done. We need these tax cuts. It's going to go into effect in year 2017. So next year, these taxes are going to be in effect, and I certainly can use all the tax breaks I can get. What about you, Alice?
Well, can't we all?
Yes, oh, absolutely. How about you, Nikki?
Yes, definitely.
How about you, Captain?
Of course.
Of course. Okay. So, with that being said, we're going to move on to our next topic, and let's talk about that. Okay. Here we go. The failed replace and repeal Obamacare. I'm getting sick and tired of this. What about you, Alice?
Yes, well, and of course we point the finger at one person only, and sick as he is, and feel sorry about that. Senator McCain seems to be just on a vendetta against our president. That's the way I look at it. He just does not want him to win, and I think it's a personal thing.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you this. John McCain's daughter had the nerve to start saying a few things the other day about our president and the way he's treating her father and so forth and so on.
Well, she's his daughter. Her father's dying, so I'll cut her some slack, So this is where she cannot be objective. And I would not expect her to be objective.
What's her name? What is John McCain's daughter's name?
Megan.
Okay, Megan, this is Dolores Reyes from the Dolores Reyes Show. Alice has said to cut you some slack. But my thing is, shut up first. Then you get some slack. You reap what you sow.
No, I will.
You can disagree with this.
I will not defend her father in any way. I think he's totally wrong, 100% wrong. But she is his daughter, and he is dying, and so she's, it's her dad.
I want her to shut up.
She really should not be making any comments.
Want Megan to shut up. Megan, you're a nice young lady and, all the good things, and you're a nice Republican, and I know your dad is sick. There's a whole lot of Americans with sick dads, and that is why you've got to repeal and replace Obamacare. What about my neighbors who's dying? What about little children who are dying? What about people who live in a trailer park who are dying? What about people who live in the barrio who are dying? What about African Americans in the ghetto who are dying, who have $12,000 a year? The working poor, they're dying too, and they need to have a health care plan that can get them and help them, not the kind of plan that your daddy has that can pay for everything. They don't have that kind of luxury. So, Megan, shut up. Okay, we're going
Well,
to the
you
next
certainly
level.
put it in perspective.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to the next topic.
Jesus. Glad my name ain't Megan.
Absolutely. Okay, Alice, I want you to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Virginia governor's race. Oh, my goodness. Tell us what's going on.
Right. Well, we have a great candidate in Ed Gillespie, who is the former chairman of the RNC. And
Tell them what
who worked in the
RNC
White
stands
House,
for, Alice. Tell them what RNC stands for.
Republican National Committee.
Okay.
Worked in the White House with President Bush. So this man is so totally qualified to take over on day one. And he's a good man. He and his wife, they're good Christian people. They have a heart for Virginia, and they want to do the right thing for all Virginians. It's going to be a very tight race. We're working very, very hard. He has, if you look at his website, 17 wonderful policies to improve Virginia and to make Virginia first as far as business and small business is concerned. We used to be first in the nation. I think now we're 29th. And so just like President Trump, he has that plan to bring us back to number one again. So if you have friends in Virginia and you're listening, or if you are a Virginian, really, please do not hand our state over to the Democrats. It is just downhill if you do that. So please, on November 7th, go out there, vote for Ed Gillespie for governor, Jill Vogel, lieutenant governor, and John Adams for attorney general. We will have a wonderful team in
wait a
Virginia.
minute. I have a question,
Alice.
You just mentioned two other people besides the governor. Who are they and what offices are they running for? And tell us a little bit about them. I mean, we don't know anything about these other people.
Jill Vogel is actually a state senator, and she's an attorney. She's a mother. She's a great mother. She's a dynamic person. She loves Virginia. I think she must have lost about 15 pounds traveling around the state to help win the election. But she will be a wonderful partner for Governor Gillespie when they get into the State House. Now, John Adams is a former military person and an attorney again, has never held office, but is really an amazing man who will really respect the rule of law and keep us safe in that regard.
Okay,
so we
great.
have.
Sounds great.
Really have three wonderful people running this time, and we are praying for victory.
Well, the next time I come in this office, come into the studio, I will have information about what the candidate that's running for governor in Virginia, what he's planning on doing for inner cities there in the Virginia, in the state, and the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we'll talk a little bit about the other two, like what are their plans
there
and
are
how
so
they're
many,
doing.
other than the policies, there are so many issues, and one dreadful issue that we have in Virginia is MS-13 and the crimes that are being committed. And do you know that now they are using more than drugs? I mean, they're into drugs, but what they're using sex trafficking and little girls.
Yeah.
And guess what the age is? Starting at what age?
12 or 13.
No, 3 years old.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Well, we're going to talk about some of his policies and what he plans to do to end
when the
that.
police come across them and they're holding the hand of a little girl, it could be the sisters, they're whatever. So
Okay.
it's very hard to
Okay.
sometimes it's very hard to arrest them.
I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. What's our next thing? Okay, I'm going to talk about women in defense. I was at an event on Thursday, and I got the opportunity to be in the company of and meet the new Secretary of the Air Force. It is a female, ooh, and all of us were like, oh my God. Well, the woman is so highly qualified. She went to Harvard. She went to, what's the school over in England, Alice? Everybody goes to. She's a Rhodes Scholar.
Cambridge?
That's what she is. She's a
Oxford,
Rhodes
Cambridge?
Scholar. She's a Rhodes Scholar, And she has been in the military for 30 some odd years, and she has children, and she's married, the whole lot, and whole 9 yards. But she told us some things that I was like, oh my God, we're in deep guacamoles here. She told us, and I discussed this with my cousin on the way over here, she told us that we have already spent 54,000 pieces of munition, which means bombs, in the 5 wars that we're in, and that our capacity is so depleted in terms of manpower and in terms of firepower, particularly in the Air Force. So they want inner city people to be trained to be pilots. So I'm going to a special meeting to see what they have in mind, what are we talking about, what's the plan, do they have a plan? If they don't, they have to pay me to make one. And then and we talked about going over to to historic black colleges and universities and going to some of their engineering programs and their cybersecurity programs to recruit them for some of these jobs. A lot of people who are coming out of the big Ivy League type schools are running over to Menlo Park. And Menlo Park means you're going to Facebook and you're going to Google and all of the other places, and they're not really interested in going to defense contractors or to the Department of Defense. So we're all trying to find and figure out a way to get people over there to those particular jobs to be interested. A lot of them need top security clearances, and so they have come up with a way to kind of remedy that problem through a mentor-protege program. So I'm really interested, and I'm going to be on point and working with African American or the black community to make sure that we're a part of that process and we're not left out of anything. And you can be assured that I'm going to be running my big mouth if I don't like the way it is going. Okay, Nikki.
Well, now that you said that, I think that it's possible that my son may have been part of the test run of that project.
Oh, good.
He attended Cardoza High School over in Northwest, and they actually built a pilot simulation program within the school.
Yes.
And he was a part of the first wave of students to go through the program and also then transfer on to the Air Force. So he's currently over in Korea serving our country.
Oh, well, congratulations. We have a military mom here. Okay. We have a military mom. Okay. And then when he comes home, when he gets back home, he can get himself at 100% veterans loan. 100% veterans loan. Okay. Alice, you want to tell them, I'm going to tell them something about our White House visit last night, and I'm going to, I want you to start off telling us something about our White House visit.
Yes, well, I was privileged to get a special appointment for us and to be able to take 5 of the women who worked very hard with me for on the Trump campaign for a tour of the West Wing of the White House, which people don't normally see. So it was very exciting and just so interesting because we expected it to be huge, and it really isn't. And walking through it was just a wonderful experience, seeing the door to the Situation Room, and we were not allowed to take pictures, unfortunately, and, seeing the Oval Office and just being feet away from where he sits every day. I mean, it was amazing. What did you think, Dolores?
I thought it was absolutely amazing. I was stunned at the beauty of the place. I mean, the thing that got me was when you remember we were walking down the steps going from one part of the White House to another, and we could see the White House and Donald Trump's living quarters, and we were trying to take pictures and everything. Well, I was just taken aback at the beauty of the way it's lit, and the grounds are much larger than I had anticipated. I thought the Rose Garden was beautiful, and the columns where you see the president walking through columns. Well, they took us to that area, and it was quite fascinating. And Alice, didn't you like and enjoy the Oval Office? I mean, it was just stunning.
Oh, gosh, yes.
It is. Do you remember the story that he told us about the desk, about the Oval Office desk? Do you remember our guide story? You want to tell that story a little bit?
That it has been used by presidents going way, way back. He mentioned J.F. Kennedy. Who else did he mention?
Well, every president since then, and actually the desk is made from a ship, a British ship that was wrecked, and that the United States found, and so the then Prime Minister of England had the wood from the ship to make a desk, and they gave it to our country as a token of appreciation for helping them to locate their ships. And they made this desk out of it, and the Oval Office desk is just absolutely fabulous. I just really enjoyed it, and thank you, Alice, for getting us in there and getting us the opportunity to go to the White House. It was just grand. So we're almost out of time. I want you, Alice, to give us a little word of inspiration. If Nikki, if you also want to give us a word of inspiration to get us through the week, I would really love that. Okay, Alice, you go first.
Yes, I would just say that, in this time where we're being assailed every day by, it would seem to be dark forces, to please remember that God is with us. Stay in the light. Do things that are godly. Send out the light and send out the love.
Okay, good. Nikki, you want to say anything?
Things aren't exactly what they seem. There is always a light on the other side, even though it may seem dark, but just trust and believe that there is still hope.
Oh, my God. What a profound. I'm so glad I asked the both of you to do that. Reach out and talk to me on Facebook, Dolores Reyes. Talk to me on Twitter, Dolores Reyes. Call in, write in, listen in. Join us on elifemedia.net on Fridays at 12:30. May God be the glory, and say amen to his majesty and grace.
Amen.
Amen.
I need just a little more Jesus. I need